Lloyd was just a young boy when his whole village was destroyed during a fierce battle against the Demon Lord. The horror he witnessed left deep scars. His eyes showed the trauma of losing everything. Merlin, a powerful mage, found him standing alone amidst the ruins. She felt a heavy guilt because her carelessness had caused the destruction. To make up for her mistake, she took Lloyd in, offering him a new home and a chance to rebuild his life. Merlin decided to teach Lloyd magic, starting with the flame spell. Her teaching style was strict. She'd show him the spell for only a few seconds and then warn him that if he couldn't replicate it, he wouldn't get dinner. It was harsh, but Lloyd was determined. By evening, he managed to create a small flame in his hand. Instead of praise, Merlin criticized him, calling his fire weak and even singeing his eyebrows with a wall of flame. Still, she let him eat because he had learned the spell. The next day, Merlin switched to water magic. She demonstrated by swiping her foot and making a small spout of water. Lloyd tried but could only make the ground a little wet. Proud of his effort, he showed Merlin, but she wasn't impressed. To teach him a lesson, she poured water all over him to show what true water magic looked like. Despite the tough lessons and punishments, Lloyd's skills improved steadily. By winter, he could create a detailed snow sculpture of Merlin with just a finger wave. Merlin appreciated the gesture but kept up her strict demeanor. She animated the sculpture, making it grow 30 feet tall and grabbing Lloyd to show him the true power of snow magic. Though tough, their bond grew stronger, and Lloyd promised to keep working hard. One morning, Merlin was suffering from a terrible hangover after drinking too much. Lloyd, wanting to help, placed his hand on her forehead and used his white magic to heal her. Merlin felt better instantly and hugged him gratefully. But as soon as she recovered, she dragged him outside to continue his training. Years passed like this. Lloyd learning spells, Merlin pushing him to improve, and their relationship deepening. Then one day, Merlin received a mysterious book in the mail that worried her deeply. Lloyd found the book, and the moment he touched it, a flood of knowledge overwhelmed him, causing him to pass out. Merlin realized Lloyd had the qualities of the chosen one, someone destined for great things. To protect him from becoming overconfident like she once was, she cast a secret spell on him. Merlin took Lloyd to the forest to practice white magic. Lloyd made a fruit ripen with a touch, impressing Merlin, but she showed him she could make an entire tree flourish. She taught him about orcs who could control monsters with rare magic and warned him about ancient magic, something Lloyd became curious about, but Merlin discouraged him from learning. Merlin's lessons were tough. When Lloyd failed to summon his magic staff quickly, she knocked him over with her own staff to remind him never to slack off. She also explained magic stones, crystallized magic that could turn objects into powerful tools. One day, Merlin left Lloyd alone in the forest with only a knife and told him to survive and find his way home. As soon as she left, a white wolf attacked him. Lloyd ran and hid in a tree, doubting his magic could defeat such a monster. He decided to avoid fights and slowly made his way home, studying spells at night to improve. Along the way, he startled a giant spider and barely escaped by casting a speed spell. Exhausted, he finally returned home, and Merlin was proud of his survival. After completing most of his training, Lloyd became Merlin's equal in magic research, often staying up late to help her develop new spells. But he grew tired of the pressure and longed to see the world. One day, he left Merlin's house and arrived in a busy town for the first time. Amazed by the bustling streets, he quickly ran out of money after buying bread and realized he needed a job. By chance, an adventure recruitment poster blew into his face. Lloyd signed up, joining a party led by Alan. During their first big fight against a giant Cyclops, Lloyd quietly cast a buff spell that made the whole team stronger. The archer shot the Cyclops in the eye, the mage blocked its punch easily, and Alan finished it off with a single powerful strike. Alan took all the credit, unaware of Lloyd's help, and rewarded him with only 5 coins, calling him a newbie. At the celebration, Lloyd declined to drink with the others, which offended the party's mage. Alan shrugged it off, saying they could always find another white mage since Lloyd hadn't contributed much. Back home, Merlin learned from a man named Will that Lloyd had safely joined the hero party. She hoped he wouldn't repeat her past mistakes and was relieved he was out experiencing the world. Lloyd continued supporting his party by casting buffs during battles, helping them win almost every fight without anyone realizing how much he was carrying the team. One night, the party's shield bearer, Rena, noticed their defenses were stronger than usual. Alan assumed it was natural talent, but Rena was puzzled since he hadn't trained recently. One night, guards patrolling the forest were attacked and killed by a giant golem. The guard captain asked Alan for help, and the party agreed to hunt the golem. Thanks to Lloyd's tracking magic, they found it hiding in a cave behind a waterfall. During the fight, a demon nearby used a magic stone to control another golem. Lloyd quickly took charge, buffing the team's accuracy and directing Lulu to shoot the demon. MIA teleported the demon's staff to Lloyd, who sealed its power. Alan, annoyed by Lloyd's leadership, charged ahead recklessly. Lloyd saved him from a fatal blow, but Alan yelled at him for interfering and later fired Lloyd from the party, accusing him of slacking. Hurt by Alan's harsh words but used to Merlin's tough love, Lloyd believed he was the problem and quietly left. Finding a new party was difficult because white mags weren't in high demand. Luckily, a girl named Yui urgently needed a white mage. She found Lloyd, grabbed his hand, and begged him to join her party, giving Lloyd a fresh start on his journey. After being kicked out by Alan, Lloyd wandered aimlessly through the bustling city streets, still stinging from the rejection. Alan had accused him of hiding behind the team and dumping all the healing work on Sheena. And while it hurt, Lloyd couldn't deny it. He wasn't exactly strong back then. He accepted it, even if it left a mark. As he walked, his eyes landed on a fountain with a statue of his master. Memories flooded back. She'd once told him he wasn't ready to stand on his own. At that moment, he finally understood. She'd been right all along. Elsewhere, an elite group of adventurers prepared for a dangerous mission, infiltrating the wooden fortress of a notorious gang called Dirty Block. Their pink-haired leader radiated confidence, but even she knew this quest was no joke. The gang was massive, disciplined, and far from ordinary. The adventurers, however, weren't pushovers. The archer provided flawless cover for the mage, taking out threats before they got close. The tank stepped in to shield the warrior from sudden ambushes, and from the back, a support mage continuously boosted their strength. With precise teamwork and well-timed buffs, they cut through the gang like a hot knife through butter. But the surviving boss wasn't going down easily. Desperate, he summoned a towering stone golem, its body nearly impervious to ordinary attacks. The frontline warrior charged first, slamming her sword into its head and barely leaving a crack. She called for Clum's enchantment spell, and with her strength enhanced, she launched a second strike, this time slicing the monster in half like it was made of paper. Clum, however, felt uneasy. She apologized for losing focus during the battle, questioning whether she truly belonged in such a high-level group. But everyone knew she was dealing with her sister Sylvie's illness, and nobody blamed her. Back at the Adventurers Guild, Lloyd was having no luck finding a team. An archer had just turned him down when Yui, the pink-haired leader, stormed in looking for a white mage. The receptionist reminded her that S-rank parties had insanely high requirements, but she was desperate. Without a second thought, Yui spotted Lloyd and practically dragged him across the guild to meet her team. She introduced him to the others: Daggers the shield bearer, Cross the sharp-eyed archer, Silica the mage, and herself, Yui, the team's swordswoman and leader. Lloyd's jaw almost hit the floor when he learned this was an S-rank party. Alan had called him useless, but these people were on a completely different level. Could he really keep up with them? Yui wanted to find out. She asked him to demonstrate his support magic. Under the pressure of their expectant stays, Lloyd's confidence plummeted. His hands trembled and sweat dripped down his face. Daggers suggested starting simple with a buff spell. When Lloyd finally reached for his staff, it appeared out of nowhere. The group froze, stunned. Then, with precise movements, Lloyd cast a series of powerful buffs, summoning multiple glowing magic circles that swirled around the team like an intricate dance of light. When Yui tested her sword on a tree trunk, it split in half like it was made of paper. Everyone was shocked, but Lloyd misunderstood their silence. Thinking he had failed, he tried to walk away, apologizing. Yui and the others quickly stopped him, realizing they had just seen something extraordinary. While talking, Lloyd admitted that he once belonged to the legendary team of 4 heroes, but was kicked out for not being skilled enough. The group was stunned. Silica confessed she had never seen anyone cast so many buffs at once. But Lloyd downplayed it, claiming that white mags like him were everywhere, like falling out of trees if you shook them. Then came the topic of Clum's absence. The team explained that Clum left because his sister, Sylvie, had a mysterious illness turning her body into Magistone. Exhausted from caring for her, Clum stepped away from adventuring. Lloyd's ears perked up. He remembered his master teaching him about Magistone, mana that crystallizes and spreads like a curse. Convinced he could help, Lloyd asked to be taken to Clum's house. At Clum's home, Lloyd immediately felt the suffocating dark mana in the room where Sylvie lay unconscious, her body partially crystallized. Plum explained it all started with a wound from a pure Magistone shard during a mission. Lloyd wasted no time. He approached Sylvie and began a complex spell, a reverse mana transfer, pulling the corrupted energy out while using a modified healing spell that consumed almost no mana. It was a brutal process, both mentally and physically, but Lloyd refused to stop. Plum and Yu watched in awe. No ordinary mage could survive such a flood of mana while casting 2 advanced spells at once. Slowly, Sylvie's crystallized skin returned to normal. Finally, with one last surge of magic, Lloyd completed the healing and collapsed, gasping for breath. Sylvie woke up to her sister's tears, and Lloyd quietly smiled, knowing he had succeeded. That evening, the S-Rank team celebrated Sylvie's recovery. Plum promised to return to adventuring once Sylvie was fully healthy. Lloyd, despite his incredible feat, still insisted he wasn't anything special. The team shared their dreams. Silica wanted to get married, while Yui vowed to become a great hero alongside his squad. Suddenly, Lloyd asked if he could join them. Without hesitation, everyone agreed. Yui announced they'd throw him a welcome party, and even though Lloyd protested, the team teased Yui, saying she just wanted an excuse to drink. The night ended with laughter, marking the start of Lloyd's new chapter as part of a true team.